Welcome to the Playbook. We're talking all things athletics. With us today is Springdale Public Schools Executive Director of Athletics, Keith Fimple. Coach, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, good to be here, Donald.
You've been busy.
Well,
You've been here 13 months?
Yeah, 13 months, working on 14 months. I think our office has been busy. Everybody involved with athletics right now, our administration, especially getting back to school. So, you know, there's a lot of busy times going on with a lot of people right now.
So, huge career in coaching. Talk to me about Keith Fimple, where it started, and how we get to here.
We might have a whole hour on this, but yeah, I started out. I went, played at Alma, played football. Like I said, I'm a son of two wonderful parents. There's no doubt I had a wonderful life. I can't tell you how good it was, but I went on to play football down at Henderson and got lucky. Got into coaching. My mom coached me and my brother both, a lot of sports. My dad was the more rounding guy. He put us in piano and guitar and, wanted us to go to plays and stuff like that. So he was that guy there, but he's still hard on us when we lost, I can promise you. But I went to Henderson, ended up GAing down there, ended up after I graduated, about 2 weeks later, they hired me to be the linebacker coach, and that's where it kind of started. Had a buddy of mine, ended up going to El Dorado after that. Had a wonderful time down there. Went to Southside and followed Barry Lunny. Coach Williams.
Not easy to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, the first year we went 5-5, and I'll never forget my roommate in college is who I was with, Jeff Williams, and he's the AD over at Siloam. And I think we went 5-5, and we got in there after the year, and he goes, "Hey, what do you think?" I said, "Man, they don't go 5-5 here." So I said, "We're going to get fired, man, if we don't win." Well, next year we lucked out and had some wonderful kids, won a state championship with, and then went to Fayetteville with Daryl Patton. Ended up leaving there and going with Chris Wood over at Harbor. Had 4 wonderful years there. Led up to all that. Wanted to be a head coach my whole life. Got a call one day, said the right thing, said, "Bring your wife to the interview with you." And I said, "Okay." So I went down there and ended up being the head coach at Dick Conway for 5 wonderful years. Right. And then, of course, this has been kind of a place that me and my wife wanted to be in Northwest Arkansas. This kind of came up, and then the rest is history.
It is. So you've been at it 13, 14 months. Mm-hmm. When you reflect back from when you started, like what in your mind is the finish line, or as far as do you consider success in next year? When you reflect back and you're like, all right, these are the things we accomplished. These are the things I probably didn't get accomplished. How do you measure that?
Well, I tell you, we had some goals, when we got, and there's some people I need to mention here with our administrative assistants first, Jenna Kate and Mary Welch and Christy Whaley. And then, the 2 assistant ADs I have with Eric Burnett and Chris Wood, when we finally got, all that right there at the start going, we'd all come up with some goals that we wanted to do. And, we delivered them to the coaches in our first meeting. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the biggest one was that we wanted to own social media. Right. We wanted to be the most technological, athletic, if that makes sense to you, to pull in kids, to help with these things, not just, but to be on top of it. And those are hard to measure data-wise, but I know one thing, there's nothing that you'll see that doesn't go unnoticed. And what I mean by that, if something happens at George or something happens at Central, our coaches are doing a really good job of putting it out there where people can see it. Right. And some days it might be somebody held a door open for them. Mm-hmm. We want them to be able to praise these kids. We want to be able to build off of that. But I think we're headed in the right direction with all the goals that we had. Right. Ending vision, like I said, I just want Springdale to be a place where families come, feel welcomed, know that we have these great academic pathways that you can take. Mm-hmm. We have wonderful athletics, and be able to say, hey, the athletic department is supporting athletics. The administration is supporting athletics. And I think you can see that with everything that's going on.
Oh, without a doubt. One of the things I like to do is if you could talk directly to the kids, to the coaches, to your staff, what impression, what would you leave with them?
Well, there's only one way I know to do it, and it's to work hard and put kids first. Whatever it takes, like I said, for 27 years, I've, went and picked kids up. I've helped with kids getting meals, and there's nothing that's bragging about in any form or fashion. I always have assumed that's the way it should be.
Right.
And, if we can provide these kids a great atmosphere for athletics, if the coaches are understanding, hey, no matter what your home life is, no matter what your socioeconomic status is, no matter, where you're at, that's what we're here for, is to provide that for them. Because you're a little displaced with this. With being an AD, my job is to serve and give those coaches the ability, because they're hands-on with them all the time.
Right.
And I think that's where, we've got to do a good job of just not being in the office. And our office is not. We're, if you get an email, we're probably going to come see you and provide what we can, or at least give you options.
Right. I make this analogy, and it started off kind of tongue-in-cheek, but the fact of the matter is the athletic office, specifically, you and Coach Burnett and Coach Wood, are always going somewhere. And one of the things I use is like, you're like just like a duck. I love this phrase, but you're like a duck on water. Like on top, it's graceful, but underneath, your legs are going 90 to nothing. Yeah. And you guys kind of epitomize that. Like you guys, that's really your deal.
I think that's what Coach Wood is, a servant leadership. And matter of fact, he taught me that when I was at Harbor. Even the 4 years we were together, I wanted to be a better leader and a better servant leader to those kids, and because they all come from different situations, but there's one thing about it, they're still coaches. Coach Wood, and Coach Burnett, and you get them an email, they need to come see you, they're going to come see you. They're going to try to give you options for it. And I'm really proud of that, because it's really hard for us to even get together sometimes.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
It's, hey, we might sit down for 10 or 15 minutes, but something's going to come up, and, then we've got to provide that support that, that's coming with it.
It's funny you say that, because just today I asked you if you could even guess how many miles you put on your truck. Yeah. And your exact words to me just yesterday was 67 miles going back and forth.
Our office is in the middle of both schools, and not just both schools, but, going out to a field at Sonora, to make sure we just got our maintenance helped us out tremendously, putting some hydro seed out, making sure it's watered. And, again, that's one thing about this district. Our maintenance team is a tremendous asset. And, having that bond with those guys, and Jeremy and Rick Daniels do a great job. With everything they got, they're still going to get to it. But they do a great job of telling us what we need to do and giving us options, and you can't brag about those guys enough, and that's what you need. Yeah. That's a pillar of any school that you go to. But yeah, you're right. It's just, we're constantly moving all the time, and like I said, if we can grab 10 minutes and say, where are you going, what are you doing with this, and go from there. So really proud of that as far as an office goes.
One of the things too I was going to mention, because you're talking about maintenance, is every aspect, like from my perspective, facilities, Jeremy and White's group, phenomenal. Like none of this happens without that, and then you're talking about the maintenance and the facilities, and you're talking about like Paul Miller, for instance. Like, yes, I didn't realize how much we needed Paul Miller, and he's been absolutely phenomenal. Him and his team step up, whatever it takes. And it's just like a football team or a basketball team, right? Everybody has a specific, and they got to do 100%.
I just hope I can serve them the way they have served us.
That's
and
a great way.
They have done a tremendous job. Like I said, they, if a bell rings, they're there for it. And I can't, brag enough in the last, like I said, 13, 14 months. We built the bond, I hope. And I hope they see it that way. We're trying to change, and there's certain things that you need help with, and they're there to always provide an option or help us with it. That's for sure.
So I know, a lot of stuff you've been doing, obviously my office is where your office is, but I see a lot of new faces coming through the doors. You've been busy hiring coaches.
Yeah, we've had several that, that's just the way it is nowadays for different reasons. People moving because of families, people that are, getting out of teaching and into the private sector. And then people just advancing on, taking coordinator titles, moving up in the realm, and that's the kind of coaches you want, that people want. They're going to come after.
So I want to get back to coaching and the changes that have happened in the district. But one of the things I really want to talk about, and it's been a passion of both of ours since you've been here,
right?
Facilities.
Yes.
Like I'm super proud of all the work we've done and working together, and it has not been easy. But for instance, this $33 million basketball classroom arena, like it's next level.
Yeah, it's definitely next level. When I got the job, a lot of this was already in place. It was going through the process that you go through. Wonderful, architectural, a lot of people involved with different, places that are in this gym, things that we added. It's been really neat to see it all come together.
It has. And then we sit here, and I have the privilege, and my vantage point is looking over Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium.
Yes, I mean, with the movement, and if you've ever coached here on the visiting sidelines or even on the home side, you talk to those coaches, and it was so tight. It really makes it look a lot better with just the actual movement of the field, the 20 feet, the addition on the side of it, and then the transformation of the fences and the new bleachers and the lights. I mean, we can go through the video board on top of that. Right. It is a really nice facility.
I want to talk a little bit about the turf. I know that it's not just regular turf. Can you talk a little bit about the wet bulb and the heating and cooling?
Turf has went through, just like anything else, advancements. I think, started out with the old turf that, a lot of people put on their back porches now, and was really good about, road rash as far as skin burns and things like that. And then it advanced into, a synthetic grass with rubber pellets. And that's went on for a long time, and it's been a great, product. But just like anything else now, Geo Surfaces is a company that works, throughout the United States, even overseas. They do a lot with soccer over there, which, if you don't know much about soccer, they don't like to play on AstroTurf at all. Right. Most of those fields are grass, but they have actually been able to penetrate over there and have a couple fields in Europe that actually are this same turf right here. One of the distinguishing marks about it is it doesn't have the black pellets anymore. It's a thick grass that they actually can put a geothermal surface underneath it. It's got a cushion underneath it. It's a different foundational base that they put down. And we took it didn't take a chance. We studied it. Flintco went through there and we made sure got great drainage off of it. But it actually keeps it cooler during temperatures that we're having right now.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know it's 20, 30 degrees hotter on the old turf, so to speak.
Yeah, the number wise, it's just been amazing. We have a wet bulb system that we use all throughout the district, even for our recesses a lot of times at our elementary schools, that has been adapted by the state of Arkansas. So, if there's a point where it reaches the black level, you can't practice. Right now, this has been really good about holding temperatures where you can actually go out in shoulder pads or helmets and practice. Now we're getting to an extreme temperature here in the last couple of days. So, we're trying to see how that maintains. But we've been putting the wet bulb out and kind of comparing between some other fields that we have across town and then this one right here.
One of the things I've talked about in the public realm, when people are asking about the stadium and the turf and all the things, and I kind of want to dive into some of the details because the first thing they said to me was like, well, you're just replacing turf. And that's not really the case.
No.
Not here. Like there was a lot involved when it comes to building a brand new stadium.
Well, having a coaching background for 27 years, haven't had much construction background at all. And there's a lot of people to think that have helped us with this process. like I said, from architecture to our maintenance department, people in the community that have helped out with it. It's been a really strong hold to see the community come together and all the people work together to make a beautiful facility.
Right. So the turf, correct me if I'm wrong, 90 dump trucks full of dirt.
Yeah, people said, yeah, we're just putting in turf. Well, they didn't realize that, the plan was to see the future, the phase 2 in the field house in the north, in the north end zone. So we had to come in, move the field 20 feet, build it up, I think 24 to 26 inches. I can't remember the correct number. Jeremy might be able to correct me on that, but that's a lot of dump trucks, probably even more than 90. I mean, we saw as many as 40 in a day to try to get that built up to, where the level grade is. And that's all about looking at the future, doing it right now to where it blends in together. So, I think a lot of consideration went into that, which is wonderful to see.
I know we meet with Dr. Cleveland every week, and one of the mottos that we've kind of adopted that he coined, I think is great, is build it right the first time. And it's hard to argue the fact that hasn't happened here.
I tell you, you go through the arena, you walk out onto the new stadium, and I call it new, new sound system, new board, new turf. It's a wonderful place. We just got finished with a showcase on this side of town last night, which was absolutely wonderful to see the people's. It's shocking if you haven't been, by or driven by to see the advancement of the project. And I get to see it day by day, every morning coming over and just seeing where we're at the next step, and seeing our head of facilities and the guys that are in our group. And working towards it in the school district itself. So, yeah, it's wonderful to see those people and how complimentary they are of what's going on.
One of the things I related a lot to your relatives seeing kids. Like, this is really our baby.
Yes.
Your baby.
Yeah.
And so if you see it every day, so you don't notice as much of the improvement.
Yeah.
But the people that haven't been here since last year, and they walk in and they're overwhelmed by how amazing
just
it
the
is.
Teams. I mean, just watching the teams come in, on the Springdale side, working from our 7th grade, 9th grade, all the way up last night, just to see their families come in and the shock of, hey, this is really nice. This is something that to be proud of. And it trickulates all the way down. You want to be a part of programs that, that are built on facilities like this, because, I mean, it really looks nice.
$33 million, beautiful arena. It's not just basketball. It's not just – we're in this hospitality suite. What are we going to use the hospitality suite for? What's the purpose?
Well, I mean, you build a hospitality suite for Friday nights, especially the way this one is set up. It is glamorous, I guess, if you want to call it, with a balcony over the football field to see. It's a facility that can be rented out during those times. And if you have a state championship, basketball games going on, it also can be used from the inside of the arena side itself.
We also, for the watch party.
Oh, yeah. We had a watch party for an WNBA player. I mean, there's lots of things that right now are, we can use this for. It's just really good to have something like this. We'll still have a suite up in the press box that has been kind of designated for our administration or somebody that wants to use it. But so we'll get into that as we go. I'm sure there are people that want to have reunions and things like that want to come back and have seen the process of this arena going up that they want to use. So endless ideas that can come to mind.
Yeah, we've had the board meeting for the foundation.
Yes, Dr. Cleveland had a board meeting up here. We've had several PDs up here for teachers. A wonderful facility, especially, overlooking the field and being able to go into the arena. So
it's gorgeous.
It is. It's really nice to have.
So I was going through touring it, and one of my favorite parts of my job is taking family members or families from Springdale or even businesses that are interested in the new arena, because everybody is. Taking them through the weight room, and I noticed everything, there's bulldogs everywhere. There's bulldogs on the end of the bars and bulldogs on the weights, and, the racks and the Super S on the floor, and that's a nice facility too.
It's a great facility to have. We had a lot of competition for weight rooms. Really hard to designate who's going to be here on this time, with things that come up and everything. It just added something to it to where We have weight rooms across the street for our football team in the field house. This all made it a lot easier to have, what's in the arena lives in the arena. So, it helps out to have multiple. We're a big school, largest one in the state of Arkansas as far as the district goes. Both schools are Don Tyson. I mean, we have a lot of kids that we have to have chances for to be able to get in and out, weight rooms, fields, arenas, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We're sitting here, and it's funny, and I kind of typically in interview situations you find things to talk about, but I'm literally sitting here having a conversation with you, and everywhere I look is something brand new.
Yes.
Like I'm looking at the sound system for Gerald Williams Bulldog Stadium. Like that in itself, there's a huge thought process.
Yes.
And, fact-finding mission, and just for that, the sound in the stadium.
Right.
Like we went with Jim Crew's company, CAS. Like they did a great job here and across town. But talk a little bit about the sound system.
Well, I mean, being around Jim here this limited time we have been, I think, you know him. I got to meet him several times, but, we had conversations on the phone just this morning. Wonderful company. Really, between me and you, I did not understand how we were just going to put it on the home side, which amazed me. But if you come to any game, I promise you, Jim was right with everything he said. The clarity, John that works for him does a great job. Has been doing it for a long time, but it's amazing to see the different sectors they fill. The parameters, the sound is all over the place. They didn't want it to bounce off the building, which was one thing that was told to me and you. And I said, never even considered that. And they got it done. And I mean, it's a tremendous asset. You don't want to turn it on at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can promise you, because you're going to hear it all over the place.
Well, it's funny, when we first discovered, or when they installed it, we happened to be showing up at the stadium, and you kind of hear some music, but I thought maybe my phone was on in my pocket or whatever. But the moment you stand in, and it was funny, I'm going to tell this story because the moment we arrived into the stadium, it's loud. You walk straight across to the visitor side because you were like, wait a minute, like, what do you mean we're only putting speakers on the home side? They're not going to hear it on the visitor side. And you were grinning ear to ear. And we couldn't even talk like we are now.
We couldn't talk from here, though. That was what was amazing. I mean, you stand at the 50 and you move to the left, you get a different sector, different sound. You move to the right, you get a different sound. And, again, my background is coaching. Like I said, my dad and mom are barbers. I can cut a hair, if in case of emergency or whatever. But, I mean, sound, I was going, this is absolutely amazing how it came out and turned out for both stadiums at Harbor and Springdale. Added a whole different dimension for us, and being able to keep the sound inside the stadium, because you can go 2 miles down and it's very difficult to hear. You might hear just a little bit of it, but it's nothing like it was in the past, and it's clear. It's amazing to see that.
It is amazing. Hello and welcome. My name is Donald Tucker. In an effort to continue to provide for our students and connect families across the country, this year we are taking our efforts to a whole new level. Our commitment to the district's children is unwavering. We believe that athletics plays a vital role in the personal growth, character development, and overall well-being. That's why we need your help today. By partnering with us, you become an integral part of our journey to empower and uplift these young athletes. Visit our website, www.springdaleathleticfoundation.org, where you can find out more information about our organization, our impact, and how you can help support. So I invite you to stand with us, partner with the Springdale Athletic Foundation, and be a part of something truly special. Together, we can make a difference in the lives of our district kids and ensure that Springdale sports continues to set the standards in athletics across the state.
Shot on the way, and good!
So we talked a little bit about Spring. We talk a lot about Springdale, and it's easy to do because there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of amazing new things that have just in the last 6 months that have happened. But I want to shift it over to Harbor, to the other side of town, because there's a lot of stuff going on there as well.
Yeah, during the spring, we, got our deal done with the digital scoreboards out of St. Louis, and Chris Kern, the owner up there, came by and saw us, and you were involved with that, and Jeremy White. We all sat down together and talked, and went through features that you normally wouldn't, warranties and what can you do for us and those type of things. But, we started immediately after we got done and picked the digital scoreboards. We went to baseball and softballs to get their video boards up. It turned out absolutely wonderful. We even got to use them quite a bit. During the baseball and softball season, what was amazing to that whole part, again, just like the sound system, we had a young lady that plays softball that actually kept the score in the dugout of a softball game.
With no training.
With no training at all.
Right,
she
here's the
picked
iPad.
up the iPad and then picked it up from there, and she's throwing scores up there and Ks and numbers and everything. It was amazing to see that, and not only the video boards, but the Score Vision software we have going with it, which is, top of the line right now. It makes it very easy for districts to use volunteers because of the way it's set up. I got a chance to look at it last night during the football game in the showcase. We'll get another one tonight at the Harbor tonight to see how that goes. But those little things are what goes back to what Dr. Cleveland, do it right the first time. And not have to come back to it. You might add to it,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to change and knock this down or anything like that. So I really have been impressed with, those boards over there and what they've been able to do. I got a clip from Coach Eckley just yesterday. Teams laying down. They practice in the mornings. They're looking up at the video board. They're coaching off the video board.
Talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind. I don't mean to jump in, but I think that's a part of the deal that they don't talk about when we were in these conversations.
Well, I'll give you a great example. I GA'd at Henderson State. Basically, a GA is, we fed the real coaches. We went and got their food. But anything cut-up-wise with video we did, anything, we did it by hand. We would do a defensive game plan by hand, draw it out, do the cards, have practice set up for every week. What this allows you to do with these boards, when you're at practice, you can actually, take the technology, throw a card up that you want kids to run or you want them just to see the play, and then you can actually play a play that somebody's run it. Right. And you can do that off in the field. It's amazing how these things are, educational-wise, they could be used for any classroom.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I noticed too was that they're showing game film.
Yes.
Like during practice or during the game. So you can scout off of it. This is what you did. This is what you should have done right there in the field, right there in the practice field.
You can show them a perfect play or you can show them a bad play. But, what's amazing, in the past, you couldn't have done that stuff. Boards were not built that way. Right. this is, you take a break, you can show a movie clip. You can take a break, you show a whole movie.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
It's just like at Harvard the other day, the Olympics happens every 4 years. I get a phone call. Soccer girls is watching the USA gold medal match on a screen that looks better than my TV at my house because I'm out there, sound system chanting USA. I mean, it's like you're actually over there watching. It was a great tool that anybody can use for whatever they need because I mean it's very accessible.
Well, the funny thing about that is that you mentioned it and word started spreading and somebody else told me about it. We drove out there. We stopped what we were doing to drive out to Harbor to watch the Olympics right on this big screen.
You really like to see coaches using those things because now, I learned here, been out of coaching for a year here, but kids are visual learners. It's even in the classroom, I'm more of a visual guy. You show me how this works, And if you show me on a 29 foot by 51, which is a third of a football field screen, I'm probably going to say, okay, or get more excited about it. So again, that makes it really nice to have in coaching to be able to throw those things up.
One of the things when I'm touring people through the facilities, if they don't say wow the first time they see it, then we haven't done our job. But every single person, even people that have been here the whole time, they see that and they're like, wow, that's incredible. But one of the things we talked about and we played around with during Kids Day over at Harbor this year is that playing movies. Like you can play one of my childishness, comes out in the meeting with Chris Kern was that those are great. I love the video, playing the video on Friday night, but can we play Madden or other video games on here? Because that's really the most important. So his example is, the kids use it for playing Madden for fundraising, which is community engagement. So we're catching kids early on it, be in the field. But the resolution is so great. And one of the things I was going to talk about is that I thought it was fake. Like when you see the pictures on it, it looks fake. It's so clear.
Every one of them that are outside right now, every time you take a picture, it looks like somebody has overlaid it, like you would find on
just a brochure or something.
Like a brochure or something. I mean, it's so clear. And I always, I have like an iPhone 8. My daughter has a really nice one.
StarTAC flip phone. Yeah.
But even with mine taking pictures, it's so clear. It amazes me. But like I said, we saw that last night, and you say shock and all, but people were really going, this thing can do a lot of stuff.
Right.
And, you see the benefits of it. And, you're up there last night and we're working it with a crew.
Of kids.
They're probably 18, maybe is the oldest one, 17. And they're doing all that kind of stuff with it. And that's what kind of the career path they want to take and being able to use those type of things. I give everybody an example. I had a guy at Conway who was a filmer for us, and we taught him how to use Huddle, and he used cut-ups, and he used a drone and all that kind of stuff. And he got his school paid for at a local college just to do those things and transition from high school over into college. So, there's benefits to this right now and the way it's set up. And, the more kids get involved with it, it's going to be awesome to see.
So 4 brand new screens at 2 campuses. Talk a little bit about, and for the first time this morning, I saw Harbor's gym.
Yes.
Scores table. There's scores table at both schools and basketball court, but the Harbor gym, like that's next level. Like there's ribbons also. Like talk a little bit about that because that's the only one I've seen in high school.
The one that the way Harbor's gym sets up with, they have seats on each side, basically east and west. They have a standing area that, Springdale Harbor, you'll see a lot of people stand up there, big ball games, Fayetteville coming in like that. But so we had kind of talked, ideas that we could have because we couldn't necessarily put a cube in it because of height regulations that you got to have for volleyball. And so you start thinking about ideas. Well, you throw it out there and the guy that owns it says, yeah, we can do that. So, what's amazing is, you go to Razorbacks and you see the ribbons that circle, Bud Walton. So, you put them on each end, which allows you 2 more screens. Then you put up a basically what they call a pie shape in the middle.
Right.
And then you have the scores table down at the bottom. So, it really makes it look nice. I think it addressed, the things that we needed to address in there, and it's going to be wonderful to see.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the resolution on the screens.
Yes, a lot of people won't know 3.9.
Yeah.
That's all we heard, and that was probably the lowest resolution we found from anybody. So it's positive to see those things coming through, and I think the kids at Harbor and even the faculty, all of them will be, really proud of what they see when they go in there.
So there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
It's like taking a drink
just
from a
little
fire
pieces
hydrant.
at a time. I mean, little pieces at a time, and when you go through each individual, what we have going on and what's been going on for the last 3 or 4 months, it's amazing to see.
One of the things I want to get your opinion on, your thoughts on, is that I'm a technology geek, and I love the technology we have here in athletics.
I'm not, but you go ahead.
I'm enough for both of us.
Yeah, we're getting into it, though.
So, the basketball arena at Springdale, they've got cameras behind the goals and center court cameras, and then you go to all the gyms in the district, all the football fields in the district, huddle cameras, showing down the video boards, where the coaches use those at practice. They're not just for the fans; the coaches are using those as an instrument to be better at coaching and connecting with the kids. How does technology and athletics kind of in the future bind together?
Just like anything else, I think it's growing that way to where, if you haven't seen a football game on Friday night, very few of them anymore will just roll in with a bench and a chair.
Right.
I mean, there's the elaborate setup of a tent. There's TVs. There's all kinds of technology on the sidelines where they can go immediately into what happened that series, what it looks like. And that's happening even, basketball with practice. In our gyms itself, just for instance, we have a huddle camera in every gym from junior high up. Both football stadiums have a huddle camera. What that allows you to do is that you can film practice. The huddle camera actually follows the ball for you. You can turn it on. Again, going back to one of our goals, social media-wise, last year, it didn't matter if you were 7 through 12, if you played in the Harbor Stadium or Springdale High, that camera was on. So we would get complimentary letters from California.
Right.
We got one from Washington just saying, hey, I really appreciate me being able to see my grandson or my nephew or whatever on the 7th grade game, because they can turn those on. So live streaming on Friday nights, but we have all this technology to where we're providing a service for those people to be able to better kids and see what they got going on.
So some people will say technology is really hampering kids. Like there's a whole argument about that, right?
Yeah, I think in this case we're teaching off of it. I think it's an asset for them, to be honest with you. I'm not going to get into the cell phone things and all that kind of stuff as far as that goes. But, as far as teaching football, a lot of repetition goes into it. That's kind of the physical part of it. But in my past of 27 years, I can take and teach you the physical part, but the mental part of the game, knowing down and distance, knowing when to slow the ball down in basketball, when to do this maneuver in soccer, I can show you.
Right.
I can pull somewhere out where I can show you somebody that's a great player, or I can show you just somebody that, a high school kid, and them being able to see it in those situations just benefits them tremendously.
Right. So one of the things I discovered, and by accident, my son is a senior at Harbor, plays football there. I was in the lobby. They've done a great job in the lobby. Like they've got the jerseys, the Raspberry Pi video boards on the wall. Like that's impressive stuff.
Yes, it is. Again, the connection nowadays with visual learning and being able to walk in and see a screen up there that tells you exactly what practice is, what it looks like, what's happening during the week, whether what group you're in. I mean, you can put all kinds of information and know exactly what's going on, in the lobby over at Harbor as soon as you walk in the door. Yeah,
it's sharp. I mean, I think that's might have been the catalyst for one of the hype videos that we did was that we wanted to, they wanted to show that off.
Yeah.
But I think probably just as impressive in my mind is the lobby here at the Springdale Arena.
With the old floor.
Yeah, that is so classy, right? Talk about bringing old heritage.
Great job architecturally of bringing in the old traditional aspect into a new gym, and it's wonderful to see, the floor that's up there from the original gym over there. You got the rock wall that was the pillars of it. Took benches actually in the gym itself that have been sanded down and cleaned up. But, that's kind of a tie into a rich tradition that they have over at Springdale. And it's really neat to see.
Yeah, I agree. I love the fact that it's like, it was old school when I was here 100 years ago, right? Or when we were kids, and then that was the gym, and you used it every once in a while. And I think the football team ran in there for grades, kind of deal.
That's probably during the rain, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right, or when we set up a new offense.
No indoors back in those days.
Right.
Yeah.
But you walk in, and there's this huge floor. Like I couldn't think of a better way to bring the heritage of the history of Springdale.
It's just a tremendous job. Like I said, it's got a lot of history in the gym itself, even though it's brand new. And that tie between those two things is wonderful to see, especially with the tradition that this place has.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Hi, this is Donald Tucker, the voice of the Harper Wildcats. Are you looking for a new career? Would you like to become a professional truck driver? The CDL Training School in Tawnytown, Arkansas is open and accepting new students. You can earn your CDL in just 3 short weeks with employment after you finish school, and PAM Transport will cover your tuition. You will train in the same equipment that you will drive once you earn your CDL. Plus, students also receive a $100 weekly stipend during training. Don't wait another minute. Call PAM Transport today at 888-498-2549.
Sometimes a dream car has nothing to do with horsepower or performance.
My dream car is the one that gets me to my job every day. The one that lets me help a friend in need.
I didn't think I had the credit. My credit score wasn't that good. But Car-Mart believed in me.
They believed in me. My dream car? A 2016 Nissan Sentra. What's yours?
America's Car-Mart. You keep the dream, and we'll keep you on the road.
My name is Eric Burnett. I am the Assistant Athletic Director for the Springdale School District. I am so grateful for your donations to the Fuel and Feed program. I support the Springdale Athletic Foundation because they care about our student athletes.
My name is Chris Wood, Assistant Athletic Director of the Springdale School District. It's because of the generosity of people like you, we are able to fully support the Fuel and Feed program. For this, we thank you and appreciate your help. I support the Springdale Athletic Foundation because they care about our student athletes.
The Fuel and Feed program raises money to help pay for pregame and postgame meals for kids and coaches. In addition, we raise funds to buy athletic footwear for the students to compete in. I'm Donald Tucker, Executive Director of the Springdale Athletic Foundation. Please take this time to help our students and coaches. Visit the link on the screen to donate now.
Thank you for your support.
On behalf of Springdale Schools Athletics, I want to say thank you.
Food that is fresh, full of flavor, and all for a good cause can only come from Tacos for Life in Springdale. Enjoy delicious tacos for a cause. When you buy a meal, Tacos for Life donates the proceeds to provide a meal to starving children. Download the Tacos for Life app for ongoing promotions and free food for our friends right here in Springdale. Great food for a great cause. Tacos for Life, 1210 JTL Parkway in Springdale.
Joe and Larry here with Sam's Furniture. We just wanted to thank you for your business and to let you know that your purchase helps serve so many people. That's right. The culture here at Sam's is to love and serve others in our community and around the globe. So when you buy at Sam's, part of your purchase goes to support one of the many organizations we partner with.
You enable us to invest in our children, teachers, veterans, development in Africa, and distributing wheelchairs to those in need around the world. You are a part of this. So from the Sam's Furniture family to yours,
thank you.
Try the 3 and 3 meal at Slim Chickens. 3 hand-breaded chicken tenders paired with 3 perfectly fried wings, shaken in your choice of house flavors. Served with fries, Texas toast, and a medium drink. Slim Chickens. Fresh, delicious chicken.
Hi, this is Zach Arns, the voice of the Springdale Bulldogs. Are you looking for a new career? Would you like to become a professional truck driver? The CDL Training School in Tawnytown, Arkansas is now opened and accepting new students. You can earn your CDL in just 3 short weeks with employment after you finish school, and Pam Transport will cover your tuition. You will train in the same equipment you will drive once you earn your CDL. Plus, students also receive a $100 weekly stipend during training. Don't wait another minute. Call Pam Transport today. 888-498-2549. That's 888-498-2549.
Hi, I'm Mary Jordan. Springdale Public Schools is launching a free weekly podcast called Springdale Today, which will feature news relevant to Springdale families. Springdale Today will feature educational news, district staff and students, as well as influential members of the Springdale community. I hope you'll join us as the free Springdale Today podcast premieres Wednesday, September 11th at noon on YouTube and your favorite podcast app. I look forward to chatting with you more about what's happening in Springdale today.
Goodbye, paperwork. Hello, convenience. Farewell, waiting. Hello, personal service. Catch you later, dreaming. Hello, planning. Buy your dream home, connect with a personal banker, and easily schedule an appointment with digital tools from Arvest Bank. Goodbye limits, hello possibilities.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you is, how are you getting people here? I mean, nice facilities. How are we putting the fans in the seats?
You know, we again, that goes back to like one of our goals, you know, was the social media part of it. You know, a lot of times knowing where it's at, what time it is, we address that right off the bat. I think we have a lot of motto nights, especially in football going on, different things that we have going on as far as a Bulls night coming in our Little League program, you know, different names for it where kids get behind it. I think we have a lot of things going on at high schools as far as that, tailgates, you know, kids getting together before the games. And again, the facilities. I mean, if I'm just in Springdale, I'm just going to go check out the boards and the lighting and the new sound system just to see how it looks.
Well, I think you talk a little bit too. You've had some people from out of state come in just to see facilities.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, we just had the Boulder Public Schools come in. I guess it's about 3 or 4 weeks ago, just to check out the turf. Wanted to see the new sound system. I think they have 6 high schools up there, and that's one benefit we've gotten from the companies that we're using. XNA is really close.
Yeah.
They can fly in people from out of state. They can come in and say, hey, this is the new video boards throughout. You can see them in various sizes, the way the trusses are. Turf is the same way. You can come in and see this new turf and work it from there. So
one of the things when you mentioned that about people coming in and talked a little bit about it, is that you've really positioned athletics to be the leader in every aspect. So whether it's social media, you're the leader in social media, facilities, leader in, athlete. I mean, the missing piece is getting everybody to a state championship. But other than that, you're batting 1,000.
Yeah. I think the coaches are the biggest wheel in that to get it moving is to be able to use it. Put your product that you have in your program, even as minute as it is, something positive.
Right.
Great effort, things like that, where families can see it that are moving in. There was at the time last year when I took the job, I went to a conference. They were talking about 25 families moving in from Fayetteville all the way to Bella Vista a month, not 3 months, every month. And so, them having access from Texas or California to watch a live stream game, them having access to see exactly where their kid goes to junior high at, those are great benefits for us as an athletic program and a school district.
Right. As you know, I take a lot of people through. I talk to a lot of people. That's kind of my role. But one of the things I've heard is, weren't the facilities fine? Like, why invest all this money and effort and energy into making facilities?
Yeah.
These are first rate in the state of Arkansas or even the region. Why wasn't last year's better or just as good?
I think that right now with Springdale, and I'm going to start with academics first, just to go through that. We're providing our kids because we see a need, and that comes down from our leadership top down. That they change to provide a different way to pick your own career pathway or your own graduation pathway, however you want to put it, to meet that need.
Right.
They did that because I think they really love the kids, and they didn't want to leave kids, without a benefit coming out of it or provide that service for them. I think the same thing is here with athletics.
Right.
We love the kids. Again, you heard me say it before. Athletics, I think, is the front porch. I think it's big for kids, to have something like that. And we loved them so much that, hey, we want to build these facilities to provide that service for them. A lot of these were outdated. They can say they were, fine or whatever, but we were a little bit outdated, and you have to advance on those things just like you did in academics. You would with technology. I mean, iPhone 15.
Right.
Everybody's walking around. You have to have something you have to advance with it, and that's the way the world is right now. And I think we're taking that step up.
I agree. One of the things I talk about, and I mentioned at the school board meeting, is that every aspect of our life you have to improve on.
Yes.
Right? Whether it's your relationship, your health, whatever. So if you don't, it dies away. It just deteriorates, right? So my response to those questions has been, well, because of that, we have to make it better.
Yes.
Right? And if we don't, it dies. So if you believe that, well, then you believe that making it better is going to make it better.
7 period days, 8 period days, whatever, in 1990 or 89, it was this way, and there very little was done to provide that service some other way besides that right there. And I think, academically, that's where we've grown leaps and bounds, and in being able to put all that together with athletics and the facilities. And, we have great facilities for schools. Our schools, one thing we haven't mentioned, all the construction and facilities, but we have built 2 new junior highs. That are beautiful,
world class,
including the other 2 at George and Lakeside, that are beautiful. We just finished that. George Elementary's been, having construction. There's a lot of change going on. But why do we do that? because we want to provide the kids, these great places where, hey, I want to go to school.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt it's the complete package.
Yeah.
Academics to athletics to the CT. All the programs are.
Yeah, we talk about athletics because we're part of it.
Right.
There's a whole big picture here that, leadership of Dr. Cleveland, we're going to provide these wonderful places for kids to go.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, in elementary schools, we have some of the prettiest ones that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
They are beautiful buildings. People brag about them. My dad drives to Branson through here out 412. He talks about Sonora and Sonora Middle School all the time as he's going by. He says those things are absolutely beautiful. I said, there's all of them.
Yeah.
They're all just about the same. So, again, that's Dr. Cleveland's vision in the school board itself. And kids want to go to places like that.
Well, it seems like to me, from school board to administration to faculty to students, everybody's rowing the same direction.
Yeah.
Everybody's
got an oar and got in the boat.
Yeah,
I think that all comes from the leadership, and that's what we're looking for athletically, academically, facilities, all that. If we just get in the boat and paddle, wonderful things will happen.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
You mind talking just a little bit about the CTE part and how the kids that we're bringing from the district are working in those programs?
It's a big thing in our district. You can find your pathway. The way you want to do a career pathway, if you want to go traditional students, and there's so much that this district offers as far as that goes. You've talked about bulldozers and just other night at the school board meeting, we talked about kids that are already getting their CDLs and graduating and working for people. They're driving diesels, and Rodney Ellis does a great job with it over there. That program has really been, it's been awesome. But we have kids that actually help us with content and they do a great job. They might not know football or baseball, but they know what they need to get up, and they make a really good show out of it. You won't say it, but I will. But we won an Emmy last year with these kids that put all this together. They did a tremendous job. And there's so many names, that we've got going, and we want to keep building on that because we saw with the school board company themselves show us numerous testimonies of where schools had, really pulled in a lot of kids to be able to benefit from that.
Right. Just to help to get them to the next level.
Yes,
and
that's what you're trying to do. It's just like our school district, with Dr. Cleveland and Miss Tisher and Dr. Smith, Miss Fink, they want to give kids, different ways because, that's where it is right now. Kids, some of them are not going to go to college and they don't want to.
Right.
Nothing wrong with it, but we're going to give you something that you can take on from here and go on with, and that's what we're trying to do even with these video boards and all the technology we're doing right now.
Yep, I agree. When we're trying to connect with students and families in the community, it seems like nowadays, really, you're doing that on the internet. It's social media, it's the website stuff. Talk a little bit about, because the website for the Springdale Athletics, it's brand new.
I tell you, it's brand new. Chris Wood has taken that on and has done an unbelievable job with it. It's as nice as you will see in the state of Arkansas, I think. And I've been just about everywhere coaching and moving around and everything else, but has done a really good job, him and Coach Burnett, of getting pictures in. Last night we were having kids scrimmage, running on the bleachers, getting a team picture, because we want them up there. We want people to provide that service for them where, hey, what is my kid's schedule? What does it look like? This is their team picture. Who are their coaches? We take pictures of the coaches and put them up where people can, look through properly and make sure, who do I need to call?
Right.
Because we got a lot of, we got a lot of parents at work.
Sure.
They don't necessarily know who their coaches are. And then, they go to that website and figure it out from there. So again, tremendous job. If you ever get a chance, anybody to go look at it, it's really nice.
Yeah. Every aspect of athletics, you're owning on the internet. Social media is blown up. You've done a great job of incorporating the coaches on the district athletic website or social media part, right? So where they tag it as their themselves and then they make the announcement. I see that every single day, all day long.
We bought a camera. We have 2 of them, and Coach Wood is out somewhere taking pictures. Coach Burnett's out taking pictures, and they're doing that because they want to rotate pictures for the internet in that specific sport. And it like I said, they don't stick around the office. If we have an event, somebody's usually going to be there. I go often, and a lot of times I don't even get involved with it because they've already got it set up and they're already moving with it. But, you can tell where their heart is. You can tell that they want to get kids up there where they can see themselves, because that's a big deal. And that providing that service. We bought a program called Sideline Design. We use Canva. Our coaches are finding ways to be able to put up those pictures. It's not just take a picture anymore. It's put it up with graphics and all kinds of stuff. So we provide that for our staff and our programs to be able to use.
Well, I know you're down on your numbers of miles today, so I really appreciate your time. Appreciate you coming in here and talking to us.
I appreciate you guys doing this. Like I said, anything like this is a tremendous asset to get out, what we're doing here in Springdale and let people know.
Great. Well, Coach, thanks again. I appreciate you being a part of this. We'll catch you down the road and talk more about athletics here in Springdale.
It'd be wonderful to do it.
Folks, thanks for joining us. This is it for today. Be sure to tune in again, and we'll be back next week.